everyone, I'm Corey. Welcome to my channel, This and That. If you've never been to my channel before, I'm a mom, a crafter, an artist. I always love to keep really busy, and I love to cook, which is really funny because I used to hate to cook and I used to hate to do cleaning and so many of the other things that I now feature on my channel. It's amazing when you become a mom how your life just shifts and changes and adapts, and you want to do these things that before you might not have really been interested in doing. So today I'm going to share a recipe. It is not one of my own. It's not one of my family recipes. It's actually one that I've used before several times at home. It's by Tiffany over at Creme de la Creme. I will be sure to link it in the description below so you can check out her amazing recipes. This is also a pantry challenge. So if you've never heard of a pantry challenge before, it's when you take ingredients that you already have at home and you follow a recipe and you create that recipe with those ingredients. So you're not going out to the store and you're not buying any additional ingredients just to make a particular meal. So the recipe that I'm sharing today is a slow cooker roast and gravy with vegetables. And this is a great recipe for if you want an alternative or an extra meal at Thanksgiving, for the holidays, or really for any time of the year. I mean, a roast is always a great meal. So I'm going to share with you this meal, and I hope you enjoy it and will consider making more of Tiffany's recipes because they are fabulous. So let me show you how to make this recipe. Here's a look at our ingredients: some seasoning, onion, carrots, beef broth, potatoes, and a sirloin tip. This is sort of a pantry challenge. I'm trying to clean out the pantry. This sirloin tip was bought on sale in 2020, so we're trying to use up some ingredients. Here I'm mixing together 2 tablespoons of a salt-free garlic and herb seasoning and 1 tablespoon of an Italian seasoning. And what I'm going to do is spread this onto the roast and rub it in really, really good. You want to make sure you get the sides and the other side as well. Make sure you get every square inch of this roast so that it can be really nice and seasoned. So this is something extra that I always do when I make roast, and it's not called for in this recipe, where I take a few tablespoons of oil and heat it up in a pan, and I'm going to sear the roast so that way the seasoning really gets into the meat. You're going to want to do this on a fairly medium heat so that way the pan is nice and hot when you already put the roast in, and it's already sizzling as soon as you put it in. Make sure you get all sides so that all areas of the meat has been seared, and then it'll be really, really flavorful when you put it into the slow cooker. Here's what your roast looks like after you've seared it. And next I'm going to cut up some red potatoes. And we like using red potatoes just because we grow these at home, and I do have quite a few of them that I'm trying to use up since we had a really bumper crop. The small potatoes you're going to want to leave whole, because if you cut them any smaller than they are, they will fall apart in the slow cooker. The larger ones you can cut in half or into quarters. You're going to want to use red potatoes because red or Yukon would be great. Russets tend to really fall apart in the slow cooker. So here I've chopped about 3/4 of my onion into large chunks because I don't want them to disintegrate in the slow cooker when they cook. You'll need 2 cups of beef broth, and I use the Orrington Farms broth base. I use the low sodium, but any beef broth will work just fine. I'm also trying to use up things in our freezer. This is a pantry challenge, so I've got half a bag of large chunked cut carrots. And I'm also going to add half of another bag that we have as well to use up some of our freezer stock. So first you are going to add your roast into your slow cooker. Next, you are going to add your 2 cups of beef broth. Next, you're going to add your vegetables. It doesn't matter the order. I decided to add the carrots first. I did half of one bag, and now I'm going to add about half of another bag as well. Next, I'm adding my cut potatoes. The red potatoes are really, really delicious. You can also use Yukon potatoes. Russets are a little dry and they tend to disintegrate. I don't have celery, fresh celery, so I'm using celery flakes. These are large pieces of dried celery. This is mostly what I use when I make beef stews and other recipes that call for celery because we just don't eat it very much in our house. And finally, I'm going to add the onions that I cut up and spread those evenly throughout the crock pot. Put the cover on, and I'm going to cook this on low for 9 hours. You could also cook it on high for 6. I have the time, so I'm going to let it cook long and slow. A few hours in, I got super nosy and I wanted to see how it was coming out, and my house smells so amazing right now. I cannot even tell you how great it smells. There's still a long way to go, but it's looking great already. Here we are with just a little over 2 hours to go, and I wanted to check it again. And oh my gosh, the house smells so good, and it's looking like it's cooking really, really great. All the vegetables look good, and I believe the potatoes are starting to get a little bit fork tender. I'm going to check them and see how they are coming along. Yep, they are getting nice and tender. So those are cooking well. The roast is finished and it came out so great. It looks delicious. So next I'm going to baste out some of the juice that is in the bottom. It's the gravy and some of the juices from the meat while it cooked. So I've got a strainer in a pan and I'm getting about 2 cups so that way I can make my own gravy. And I will share the recipe for this as well. So I already have my pan on medium heat and I'm adding the juice that I got out of the bottom of my crock pot and I've strained it. So this is going to be the base for my gravy. I'm now adding some garlic powder and some onion powder to give some flavor. Next, you're going to take some cornstarch and cold water to make a roux that you're going to add to your gravy. You're going to pour that all right in and stir it in really good. The gravy's already starting to thicken. I'm now going to add some salt and pepper, and you'll do this to taste. And here's your completed meal. It looks absolutely delicious. It's paired great with a dinner roll. Bon appetit! So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you enjoy the content on my channel, I hope you will consider subscribing. I am a new channel, but I've been adding lots of new videos every week. And as always, stay safe and be well.